Which equation matches the graph shown above? I'm going to do this in a very unique way. First things first, though, I know that this is a log because logs look like that. So adios and adios. Now, the way I can figure out which one C and D is you can do some memorization, but I'm going to go about this in a very unique way. I have like a base of 3, I have a base of 2, and I want to see which is which by comparing this to its inverse counterpart. Okay, so its inverse means if I were to graph it, you just flip the x and the y values. So this right here is the point 1, 0. Let's graph the point 0, 1. This is the point 2, 3. Let's graph the point 3, 2. This is the point 4, 6. Let's graph the point 6, 4. And this is the point that looks like 8, 9. So let's graph 9, 8. I'm going to try to attempt to draw this the best that I can. Usually I'm awful at this, but if I do like the little, sketchy way, actually didn't turn out half bad at all. Now, this is what I'm looking at. When I want to write this out as an exponential function in the form y equals a times b to the x, what I have is I start out with an initial value of 1. So that A, kind of useless, don't need it, let's get rid of it. Now what's really important is B tells you what you multiply every time. Okay, I go up 1, and then I go up 1, 2, and then I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. B acts as a common ratio. So what I get here is my base, whatever that is going to be 2. Because I multiplied, I went up 1, and I went up 2, and then I went up to 4. And so my base is 2, which means if I compare it back to the original version, D is going to be my answer. And you might be thinking, well, then what's that 3 stand for, sir? Well, notice up here, in the inverse, I went up 1 over 1, 2, 3. I went up 2 over 1, 2, 3. I went up 4 over 1, 2, 3. So when I erase this and go back to the original problem, when I was in exponential form, that base told you how many spaces I go up every time. Well, now it tells me how I go over every time. So when the base is 2, I go right 1, and then I go right 2, and then I go right 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the next one would be right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you might be thinking, all right, well, how much do you go up then? Well, notice this was right 1, up 1, 2, 3. Right 1, 2, up 1, 2, 3. Right 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, 2, 3. So my next guy, if I needed another dot, I'd go right 8, up 3, then right 16, up 3. Don't need to go that far. But what I learned by doing this is basically your number in front of log acts as almost like a rise for your slope. Okay. And then your 2, your base in this case, tells you how many times we're going to multiply to move over to the right next time. So I went over 1 times 2, right over 2, times 2, right over 4, then over 8, then over 16. Kind of interesting. I never looked at logs that way, but you learn something new every day with the math teacher. Go like and subscribe.